Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel Armag for All. Topic for this video today is, should you calibrate your TV, or maybe in some cases should you get a professional calibrator to calibrate your TV? Let's see if we can answer this question in this video. Enjoy. Okay, so and always keep in mind, before we start, I have done all my testing and my measuring on my LG CX 65-inch board. I bought this TV around a year ago, okay? So it can vary on your TV. Depends on what TV you're using. If you're using a LCD, OLED or whatever, it can be complete different result, okay? So we are taking my TV as a reference, as a sample here, and also I will do my conclusion on my TV. But again, maybe your TV is completely different. Okay, and I have done all my measurements and testing with the i1 Display Pro, and that's the colorimeter. That's how it looks like. You can open it here, and here's the lens. And also with the latest Karman version, the 2021 version. And I have to say, I'm really surprised. Finally, it's working without any crashes, without any surprises. It's really, really good. And I did all this testing and measurements with auto calibration, not with manual, because it is so much easier. And again, I was really surprised how it is working. And of course, because it is so good working, I will do a video about how to calibrate or how to use Karman 2021 with your LG CX and probably with the C1 as well and G1 and whatever, because it's quite similar, okay? So anyway, so if you're new to my channel and you like to see more stuff like that, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Okay, so I compared 3 picture modes against the factory settings or out-of-the-box settings versus auto calibration after Karman 2021. And I like to start actually with SDR, gaming SDR. Where is it? Gaming SDR factory setting. And I was very, very surprised. And again, we're taking my LG CX as a reference, so your TV can be completely different. But let's have a look on this result here. This is, let me try to make this a little bit bigger here. So this is the out-of-the-box setting from the gaming mode SDR. I think I had the Xbox or whatever was running in the background. This is again out-of-the-box gaming mode SDR. And I have to say, if this is out of the box, this is almost perfect. And I would actually say, because it is out of the box, it is perfect. We have a maximum area in this grayscale from 1.2 and a maximum area in the color space from 1.4. Again, out of the box settings, for me, those results are perfect. Okay, so let's take a closer look on the factory settings or factory measurements and the calibration measurements. And also keep in mind, I just did not the fastest measurements. I did a 20-point calibration in the gaming mode and also a very quick color gamut calibration. So if you're choosing or using a different calibration method on Karman 2021, then you will have a better result at the end, okay? It will take ages, but the result will be a little bit better. I'm not saying you get complete perfect results, but it will be a little bit better, okay? It's up to you if this is worth your time, because it can really take ages, okay? Anyway, let's have a look. This is the pre-calibration here, before the calibration happened, the out-of-the-box settings. And what we can see here actually, that we have actually a better result in yellow than in the calibration measurement. Not sure why, but this happens a lot with Karman. What I experienced, always when you do the calibration, it looks perfect. And when you do your testing calibration or pre-calibration or post-calibration measurements, then you have a different value. Not sure why this is. Maybe it's still something with Karman, but that's what we have, okay? Again, I would say at this very moment, there's no point to do any calibration when we just talking about gaming SDR mode, because you can see, or maybe not, because you can see the difference is really, there's almost no difference. We have the same maximum error, 1.2, 1.2. And again, if you're using a complete different method in terms of how long does it take the measurement and so on, you will maybe get this down to 0.8 or 0.6 or whatever, okay? But again, out of the box setting and with a very quick calibration, not a very quick one, but a normal calibration method, I can't see any improvement at all. And maybe you have a little bit of a better outcome here at the end. You can see the red is a little bit above the line and here it's a little bit closer, but the overall result is almost identical. Okay, so now we learned gaming mode SDR on my LG CX is out of the box very, very good. But what about the gaming mode HDR? And that's the gaming mode HDR at the moment, out of the box, the factory settings. And you can see maximum error in color performance 6.6 and grayscale performance 6.8. And you can see this. That's the result. And by the way, I did this measurements with HGHG turned on. That's why you have here almost a perfect, curve. It's not a curve, but almost a perfect measurement, okay? So I didn't find any difference between HGHG on and off during the calibration. So there's really, in my opinion, no difference. Not in terms of colors, of course, and not in terms of the grayscale. It can be a difference in terms of the gamma, but I found with turning on HGHG during the calibration, I have really the best result, and I will show you this later, okay? Again, so this is the factory setting or the out-of-the-box measurement from the LG CX in gaming mode, and actually that's not a good result at all. Okay, so now we're here with the gaming mode HDR calibrated, and this was the LG 20-point calibration. You can also choose 42-point calibration, which makes it better a little bit, but again, I think the result is very, very good compared to the factory setting. And I'm very, very sure you can see this in our side-by-side comparison. Absolutely easy, because we're talking about a delta E error around 6 to 7, which is very, very high, a very, very big error actually. But I will say something about the right colors and right grayscale a little bit later. Now we're focusing on this. Okay, what we can see is really our color performance 1.5, grayscale performance 2.1. I'm not sure, maybe this is the 65 here. And again, every time when I did another measurement or whatever, the results were a little bit different. Okay, so I'm not sure why this post calibration verification doesn't add up with my calibration in the beginning. Okay, I'm not quite sure what is the difference, but it can be maybe a different pattern or whatever. The temperature from the display is different and whatever. I have really no idea. We have always a little bit of a difference. But anyway, let's have a closer look also on the, where is my comparison? So I'm sorry, I'm using no, that's not the right one. I'm using the LG CX USB thing, which is actually handy, but a little bit, too much click. Anyway, factory setting, game mode HDR versus game mode calibrated HDR. And you can see there's a very big difference, actually very, very big difference. And in this case, in my opinion, it was absolutely worth to invest half an hour of my life to calibrate this TV for HDR. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the expert modes, bright mode and dark mode. And again, this is the bright mode or the dark mode in factory setting. Okay, so nothing has changed. I just resetted the picture, took a measurement, and this is what the result. Okay, and also what I forgot, of course, oh my god, forgot this. In game mode, always use warm 2. Okay, don't use normal or warm 1 or warm 3. Use warm 2, because this is the closest what it gets to the D65 norm, and I really forgot this. Very sorry about this, but always use warm 2, okay? Don't use anything else if you like to have a D65 or REC 709 picture, okay? So again, expert mode, out of the box setting, you can see a little bit too reddish, or maybe you can actually say it's a little bit more cyan or something like that at the end, the picture. And I will show you, of course, the calibrated settings or result. Just give me 1 second. It's not that easy here, but I can do it, I can manage it. So that's the calibrated setting with my LG CX. And again, it was, I think, a 20 or 21 point calibration with Karman 2021, and also very quick 3D LOT LUT measurement from the color space. So you can do a lot of better calibrations with Calman 2021. Not sure if it's really worth at the end, because the difference is not perfect then, okay? It's not, okay? So it's up to you, okay? If you want to get a perfect picture out of this TV, it will take you ages, okay? Even with AutoCal, my experience. Anyway, very quick calibration, 20-point calibration, and this is the result, and it's so much better in my opinion. And unfortunately, I didn't have a picture where the comparison is. But again, in this case, in terms of the expert modes, I saw a very big difference between the calibrated mode and the uncalibrated mode, and I can show you this actually. Okay, so with this test pattern, I can easily show you the difference between calibrated expert mode and uncalibrated expert mode. So we remember, so expert bright, by the way, is the calibrated, expert dark is the uncalibrated mode, okay? So you can see the difference is actually that expert dark is more, warm, more reddish than expert bright, which makes also sense when we remember the picture in the uncalibrated mode, red was much more dominant or more present than the other colors, okay? So that's why expert dark is actually a little bit warmer than compared to expert bright, okay? And not just this, when you have a close look here in the darker colors, then you can see that the gamma is also different. So in the expert dark mode, we have actually a little bit of a higher gamma, let's say like this. So both modes is set to gamma 2.2. But what you can see, expert bright and expert dark, that actually in expert dark the gamma was at the end not 2.2, it was around 2.4, okay? So it goes a little bit in the wrong direction. So with the calibrated settings, actually we have a better gamma curve at the end, so we see a little bit more details in the darker areas, okay? It's very minor again, but this is what the calibration is at the end. So now I have to say something in terms of calibration at all, or really should you calibrate a TV? Because when I'm looking at this test picture and I'm comparing the calibrated mode and the uncalibrated mode, then to be very honest, I find the uncalibrated mode looks more or better than the calibrated mode, because this at the moment looks a little bit too greenish to me, which again, don't get me wrong, with all the calibration, whatever, and OLED, people claiming or saying that you can't calibrate an OLED TV to D65 because it will not end up, because it's an OLED, okay? Anyway, I never tried a different white point. I always use D65 because I'm happy with this. But again, compared to this at the moment, I would actually say that the expert dark mode makes a better impression to me. But I know it's according to Calman and to my measurements, it's wrong. Okay, next test picture, a little bit of a gameplay material from Demon Souls. And again, we're switching between bright mode and dark mode. And what we can see, I can see a big difference. Or let's say it like this, I can see a difference. But again, I can't tell you which picture is the right one if I wouldn't know it, okay? I know that the bright mode or bright room calibration or set or picture mode is the calibrated one, okay? With my calibration, with Calman and whatever. Expert dark is the factory settings out of the box. So this is the difference. So I can't tell you at this very moment which I like more, because there's a difference in colors. There's a difference in the white point. There's a difference, a little bit of a difference in terms of the gamma when we looking at a little bit of darker objects. So in the bright mode, I can see a little bit more. Very minor, but there is a little bit more. And this is the whole point. Let me try to find something else. That the whole point of calibration is actually, in my opinion, is it really worse? Don't get me wrong. I think, yes, in some cases you should do a calibration, but nowadays with the TVs, and just let me try to get here and this again here to compare this picture at the moment. So, uncalibrated mode, calibrated mode, uncalibrated, calibrated. Again, I think at this very moment the picture is getting a little bit too greenish. So that's my impression at the moment, but according to Calman and to my I want Colorimeter, it is the right setting, okay? Not sure about this, what I should think about this, but I have my conclusion, of course, I have my summary, and we're talking about this now. Okay, summary, and the first thing what we should talk about is this actually correct? So, I bought a very cheap colorimeter, okay? I did my calibrations with this, and I think this is correct, the settings or the calibration, but I don't know it because I have no idea if this colorimeter is measuring the right thing or not. You understand me? Because it can be that actually the expert dark mode is closer to the D65 norm than the calibrated mode. It can be, because again, I have no idea how accurate this colorimeter is, okay? So, this is to consider, and not just like this. When we're talking about would you like or should you calibrate your TV, then I have to say nowadays the TVs are actually very good in terms of out-of-the-box settings. Back then, when I remember my first plasma TVs, Pioneer TVs, I was an absolutely fan from Pioneer TVs. I had the 5090 or 5090X, I think, or XA or whatever was the name. And I did also calibration with this TV. And back then I was working for the broadcast company, and I was able to have colorimeters or spectrometers, or what is the name, I can't remember, but Konica Minolta CS2000. So just Google this, okay? This is a high-end measurement unit, okay? Compared to this is toy against this, okay? And back then, in terms of calibration from consumer TVs, there was a big difference between uncalibrated and calibrated, a very big difference, day and night. Full stop, day and night, back then, 10 years ago, okay? Nowadays, it is very close. It is closer to the norm as we actually think. Because you have seen the game mode, SDR, is almost the same like the calibrated mode. And again, of course, you can do better calibration, you get a better result at the end. But the question is really, is it worth it? And this is the question what you have to ask you. Because let's say like this. If you're like me and you know how to handle a computer, you know how to do use a software, use a colorimeter, then I would actually not recommend to get someone in and do the calibration for you because of a couple of things. First of all, you need to consider when you buy a new TV, I wouldn't do a calibration from a professional calibrator straight away. You need to let the TV run for a couple of hours. I would say at least 100 hours, at least, because we're talking about OLED display. OLED display will change, minor, but it will change over the time. Back then with plasma TVs, it was actually a big pain in the ass because this was always changing like crazy. Nowadays with OLED TVs or LCD TVs, of course, they're not changing or very minor, but OLED TVs nowadays better than plasma TVs back then. Okay, so again, if you consider to get someone in or on site, then give the TV at least 100 hours to burn in, let's say like this, okay? I would actually consider up to at least 500 hours, okay? To have a stable panel, okay? Not quite sure about OLED TVs, but back then with the plasmas, again, it was a pain in the ass, okay? Then consider that you have to recalibrate your TV after certain hours, again, because again, the panel will change. Very minor, but it can happen. It can happen, okay? Again, I'm not quite sure how this LGCX is doing after some times, after 500 hours, 1000 hours, I have no idea, but you have to consider this, okay? So, in my opinion, if I'm just talking about myself, I would not pay any professional calibrator to do a calibration. That is my opinion. But this is my opinion because I can use this, okay? So if you, of course, never touched a computer before and you just like to have the best picture quality, and in terms of gaming HDR, you have seen the difference. It's very big because the delta E from 6 to almost 1.2 or whatever the difference is very big. Then, of course, you should consider to get someone in to calibrate your TV. But if you like to do it on your own, this is, in my opinion, get a colorimeter, get the software. At the end, it's cheaper. At the end, it's cheaper because you can do it anytime. You can practice, you can fool around, whatever you want to do, and you just pay once, okay? It's much cheaper and you know the result then, okay? So this is my opinion, okay? If you have to, if you like to, get a professional calibrator in, but also ask him what colorimeter is he using, what software is he using, and then do some research, because just because someone is telling you, hey, I'm a professional calibrator, no. If I would rock up to a customer's place with this one, this is not professional at all, okay? This is beginner level, okay? But this is enough for me, to be very honest. It's enough for me, but maybe not for you, okay? So consider this, okay? If you have to, get a calibrator in, a professional calibrator, but do some research in the beginning, okay? Because for sure there are many people out there that are claiming, and at the end they're not, okay? But I would actually really recommend, if you like to learn something about your TV, if you like to learn about calibration, get a colorimeter. You don't need to get this. You can get a much better one, or a much worse one, a much cheaper one, of course. Get a software like HCFR, which is absolutely for free, and start practicing with this software. I will put a link in the description later on, and see how you go, okay? And again, I will do a calibration video with the new Calmon 2021 software soon, because I found finally it's working perfect, okay? So anyways, thank you very much for this video. Thank you very much for watching me. I did the video, so I have to I have to thank you for watching me. And again, if you're new to my channel, do me the favor, subscribe, and I can't, nothing else anymore. Just take care, and I see you next time. Bye.